Playing two characters in a show, well, first of all, it's a blessing that very few actors are given. Captain Crais, I play the Captain Crais, who is a peacekeeper captain.
Captain Crais?
Yes, Lieutenant.
The Prowler Squad has returned, sir. They report the Leviathan transport has escaped. One of the prisoners, the Hynerian Royal, somehow secured the key codes to the prisoners' cells, and there were casualties, sir. 2 ships lost.
I don't care about casualties. A Leviathan transporting prisoners does not escape while in my custody. Is my brother returned yet? We'll dispatch him in the rear battle fighter to track it down.
Sir, this is playback from the recon satellite monitoring the pursuit of the Leviathan.
Pilot. I voice Pilot, on the other hand.
Pilot! I demand you give me maneuverability now! Pilot!
There's nothing I can do. Not while the control collar is still in place.
He's a wonderful navigator, a wonderful creature who is bonded to this Leviathan from the waist down. And it's a great pleasure playing Pilot.
We've done it! We've escaped! Attention! One Prowler traveled with us.
Block its radio, net it, and bring it aboard.
As good as done.
The first part of season 1, I was on set. In fact, I was in this room, and we had Pilot here, and I was able to, and Pilot's image there behind us, behind you, and I would sit on set and work with the actors, and that was a great pleasure to do that. But as time went on, it became more difficult for me because I'd be working on another set. So logistically, it was impossible to be here for the actors. So what happens now is that I work in a studio, which is also on this lot at Homebush, and I go in there for about 2 to 4 hours voicing Pilot. And the rushes come up on screen, and I work in the dark there with a couple of microphones, and we just work quietly with Angus, the technician, and when we're both satisfied that we've got what we want, we just go into the next scene. So, but the interesting thing is when I go in to voice Captain Crais as well, I have to do Pilot first because the voice that I have for Captain Crais is much lower, lower register. So Pilot's working. Pilot's way up there, and Captain Crais is way down there. So that's.
Captain Crais.
Name.
It's John Crichton.
And where are you from? John Crichton.
Initially, the story arc for Captain Crais was that he would chase Crichton. Crichton's killed his brother, and out of revenge, I go and chase Crichton. And what happens through the first season is that you see this man who is absolutely ruthless in his pursuit for Crichton. Episode 7, that old black magic, that's when you see Crais again in a great confrontation scene where we're sort of battling it out. What happens is that Crichton explains that it wasn't his fault. It just came around the corner and knocked him. And I won't have a bar of that.
Spacians don't care much for heat, do you? Christ, lay off for a minute and listen to me.
Why? So you can beg for your life?
So I can tell you why your brother died.
Tell me then. Tell me why he died.
It seems to me that some roles fit actors better than others, some actors better than others, and this was a role even before I had seen the Bible, the character flesh out of who he was, it was explained to me that he was ruthless. He was a peacekeeper captain. He was taken as a young boy and conscripted into becoming a peacekeeper, like stormtroopers. And I thought, wow, this guy is definitely intense. And there's a part of me that kind of jumped at that, and I thought, oh yes, I'm going to play this role. And but with that, I didn't want to reveal everything at once. And this comes back to this whole thing, which I really like to see in actors, that they, it's a thing of great patience. If you're playing a character in a long-running series, you have to have great patience in revealing the character's hand, like on episode 15, or episode 20, or in the second series. So you just have to hang in there quietly, just quietly work away, and then when it's the time to reveal it, do it right then. And it seemed to me that Crais' complexities, there's room for his vulnerability later on down the track. And so I kind of welcome that, and I like wearing Captain Crais' mantle.
Let me spread some light on Crais' hostility.
Father, how dare you bring this man here?
Don't worry, Crais. I wouldn't touch your father. This is simply an image from your past.
Bialar, Tovo, come here, please.
That's right, Bialar Crais.
I just go in there, and if the scene requires me to go to a great depth, emotional depth, because we have limited time, I try and get all my work done in 1 or 2 takes. And so I literally just go for it. And that's really, really exciting, It's like a 100-yard dash. You've got to get to the line really quick, so go for it. You can't sort of take your time in there. And because of that, it gives the scene an edge, and it also pushes me to try and get in all the information that I need to get in that time. I'm also working off the other actors, working with Claudia, working with Virginia, working with Ben. Ben is so fantastic. And these guys give you everything in there, and so when we're working in there, it's like a piece of jazz, intense jazz. We don't really talk about how we're going to actually play the scene, interestingly enough. We go in there, the scene is blocked, and we hear action, we just go for it. And what Ben gives me, I give back, and Claudia, and so on, and all the other actors that come in as guest actors as well, see the style that we're working on. Initially for guest actors, it was kind of confronting because they weren't too sure whether it was kind of like Star Trek, which doesn't go into great, huge emotional depths. This is really like drama. This is full-on drama. So we don't hold anything back. And it kind of, woke them up a little because we would just go in there and play like hardball.
Please don't shoot. Of course, I would have demanded the same precautions myself, but...
Off the throne sled, Rigel, and face down on the ground.
Well, hardly. Then I'd miss your reaction to whatever's about to happen. And please, whatever your reaction, don't let it include weapons fire.
My boy Crais!
Clearly an awkward situation. However, I have asked Dominar Rigel the 16th for asylum, and he has accepted.
By the goddess, that's insane. What do you need asylum from?
Before I can answer your questions, I would feel safer in protective custody, with passions calmer.
Protective custody.
Pilot, have the DRDs check the transport for tracking devices.
At once. Tiana, reinstate the cell door functions on Tier 7.
With pleasure. Move it.
As you can see, I am unarmed.
As you can see, I am also unarmed.
You always said you wanted to kill me.
You knew. You knew all along. Tell them. Tell them!
Cardago did not commit the crime that he was imprisoned for. His mate was killed by someone else.
Her own brother, a peacekeeper.
You knew, and you kept him in chains.
No matter what I knew, only a tribunal order can release a convicted murderer.
Easy answer.
There isn't much in life that is unfair. We are all proof of that.
If life was fair, you'd be dead.
My relationship with Talon is kind of, how can I explain it? Talon is like a child. I think the best way is explaining it in terms of the way an adult interacts with children. And so my relationship with Talon is like a parent to a child. And I train Talon, teach him what he needs to know: combat, flying, warfare, strategy. But in that process, as always happens with parents, parent-child relationship, that child will also teach the parent things about themselves, and so the relationship, you know, really grows stronger because of that. And where we see Talon and Crais through the second series that is solidified, and then now that we're shooting the third series, we really see the repercussions, not the repercussions, we see the result of what has happened with Crais and Talon being together. They're bonded. They'll have great arguments. In fact, in the third series, the episode I'm shooting right now with, which is written by Ben Browder, it's a magic episode called The Green-Eyed Monster. You see Talon and Crais in a completely different light. And not that I'm going to give anything away, but it's worth hanging in there to see, because, you know, you just wonder who has the upper hand.